Yamana Gold has recently launched a new standard in tailings management, and here to talk to us about this initiative is Senior Vice President of Health Safety and Sustainable Development, Ross Gallinger. Ross, it's a pleasure to have you on the show. Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me, David. It's a pleasure to be here.
So maybe explain to the viewers what tailings management means and why you launched this initiative.
Certainly. Thanks very much. So first of all, tailings is a byproduct of the operation of mining. Basically, what we take is ore, crush it into sand-sized particles, extract precious metals, in our case, gold and silver. What remains is called tailings, and that actually placed out into a waste management area that's highly engineered, controlled, and to protect the environment and communities.
So Ross, tell us about the history of this new standard. You've had an old standard before. Why did Yamana Gold go through the process of developing a new standard?
Well, it's not specifically our standard. It's a standard that applies to the industry.
Yeah.
This global industry standard on tailings management was an initiative of the International Council of Mining and Metals. For us, we've been involved in a number of standard-setting aspects in Canada, specifically the Mining Association of Canada, and their guidance on tailings management has been around for a number of years, and really that has been valuable in terms of inputting into this new standard itself. As well as a number of initiatives as well. Internally for ourselves, because we follow both the Mining Association of Canada's work as well as our own best practices associated with tailings itself. And some of the things that are added to the standard is really a lot more on disclosure, and which we've seen a lot of interest from investors in terms of what is our tailings facilities, how we're managing those, and we put a lot of effort into and recently in terms of disclosing that information. And the new standard in one area really discusses that. But it also has issues around management and governance, which we've done a lot with regards to that. Our management compensation is based on performance around our tailings facilities as well. If we have an incident, their compensation is directly affected about that.
As you know, in 2019, there was an accident in Brazil at the Brumadinho site, tailings accident that killed 250 people. Can this new standard see improvements in infrastructures, and can investors expect more oversight from management following this new standard?
Yeah, absolutely. It sets a new set of overarching principles that everyone needs to follow. So we basically have a core set for investors to look at, where in the past we had both the legislative requirements in country that can be different all over, and a variety of sort of management practices. Now we have one global standard associated with tailings management that includes everything from community engagement, emergency response to disclosure. So I think we'll really move the management disclosure. We'll really be able to move a description on how we're managing those facilities, and we have a uniform way of demonstrating that management system across through this new standard.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Can you tell us about how Yamana has coped with the COVID-19 pandemic, and whether or not you've developed any new safety and health regulations around this incident?
Yeah, no, we've done a lot of work around that since March in the pandemic. We initiated our crisis plan early on to look at, a number of aspects. One, in terms of protection of our employees and the safety of our employees, which is paramount. And two, in terms of ensuring that we maintain the contribution to our local communities as well. So we've done a lot of work in terms of hygiene, social distancing, aspects, screening method. We're now shifting to testing regimes as well. So far, we've managed with a very low amount of cases in our operations and move forward. But there's significant cost in terms of those social distancing practices to our operations that we're working through as well. On the community side, we've been first of all helping them prepare for the pandemic in the community in terms of their capabilities in terms of providing equipment, to helping vulnerable people in the community, and we pivot in terms of using our emergency response expertise to help those local communities in terms of their needs in terms of emergency response as well. So we continue that aspect in terms of supporting our communities through this part, and I think all the countries we operate in, mining is an essential service, and continuing to operate is helpful to those communities in terms of the jobs and taxation component of it for those countries.
To your knowledge, is this new global industry standard for tailings management something that all miners in the world will eventually have to comply with?
Yeah, I believe so, because the investment community is solidly behind this initiative as well, and so anyone who doesn't implement it is going to be asked, why aren't they doing that? And they'll have to have a valid excuse to that as well. I mean, for us, a lot of what we already do, what's in the standard, we're already doing. To the most part, and I mean, this is an opportunity to improve the systems that we have based on the content within here as well.
And in terms of cost, investors might be wondering whether or not implementing this new standard might affect all-in sustaining costs.
I don't believe so. Specifically, we'll build that in as we go forward. We constantly, and we'll have time to do that. I mean, the expectation is 3 to 5 years to fully implement the standard. We'll factor in the global industry standard on tailings management into this work, and we'll take it up in small chunks as we go through this. But we'll be prioritizing the things that are most important. For a lot of this, we have the stuff. The things in place. For us, really, it's how we document it so that it's auditable at the end of the day. So really, it's a documentation exercise for us to confirm the things that we already have, that we believe we already have in place and are doing.
Finally, Ross, you're one of the first gold miners we've spoken to since gold has hit all-time highs, and in fact, as we speak today, it's surging past $2,000 an ounce. How do you think these new price levels will affect operations?
Well, for us, it's forging ahead with the plans that we have and see how we can improve those operations moving forward, as I see it. And for us, it's in terms of my area, it's really helping to reinforce the things that we need to do from a health, safety, environment, and community perspective as well. So we can't lose sight of our commitments to our employees as well as to the communities.
Okay. Ross, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show today and for your work on developing the new safety standard. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Kitco News has more for you. Stay tuned. I'm David Lynn.